Just over 5 years ago, I reviewed Mighty Mulan on the PS2, which was one of the shortest reviews at the time, as I deemed the movie unreviewable and then moved on to something else. Not sure why I made a review of something just to say I couldn't review it, but it never really sat well with me that I did that. I guess you could call it one of my regrets. Anyway, just shy of this film review's 5th anniversary, I got a comment on the video from another user called La-Di-Da, and it said, Mulan. And they were right. I have an obligation to properly review games and movies that I take to reviewing. Not just rant about how I can't review them because it's too hard and then just leech 165 views in 5 years off of the video. Bad form. Bad form. I'm Professor fucking Mercurius. I'm Profession Cures. I can't just back down the second a challenge rears its ugly head. So I set out on a journey to redeem my honour by reviewing Mulan on the PS1. Technically so that I'm reviewing a different game, even though it's the exact same game but for a pre-gen console. That, and I couldn't find the footage of Mighty Mulan because it was basically... it's lost on one of my old hard drives, and I didn't feel like going through hundreds of hours of footage just to find it. So here we are, Mulan on the PS1, aka Mighty Mulan. So we start off as many award-winning films have started, with Rain in a Pond.
This is the legend of Mulan, a courageous daughter of a worthy Chinese warrior.
Oh, thanks Microsoft, Sam.
She lived 800 years ago in a small town named Tunpu.
Pooh. Whilst this one and done take history lesson is fascinating, I hate it. Move on already. So we already see that one difference in this movie's universe, that Tweety Pie and Raiden fused to create lightning god Tweety Pie. Thanks, it sickens me.
The rain stopped.
I like that she needs to put her hand out to fully confirm that. She couldn't tell from the bigger clue that there was no visible or auditable rain, and none of the droplets were coming through her open fucking window. So already you can kinda see that the animation is weird in this movie. It lingers randomly on some frames whilst having too many in others, and from what I can tell, it's some very early computer animation where the backgrounds and the foreground, as well as the characters, don't quite blend together. It's not quite Alibaba and the Gold Raiders bad, but it is quite noticeable. To be fair, good products at the time had this problem. I remember the Superman cartoon and the Justice League cartoon having a similar problem in 2004, but admittedly it is very jarring, and it is a lot more of a common issue in this than it was in those kinds of things. I do like the fact that she runs over what is meant to be foreground, like she's running over a picture of the path and not the path. We then cut to a square that we can't see because there's a PNG of a Chinese roof in the way.
Hey, Mulan!
Here's an apple that just appears in my hand because taking things from the background is hard.
Don't forget your friend's apple.
Oh good, everything just appears after a few seconds of the background being established. Bravo! Fucking hell, it's one of those films.
Don't forget your friend's apple.
We're in China, we are. Also, why is this merchant just giving away all of his apples? He must have a hard time staying in business doing that. Then again, he did seemingly conjure that one out of thin air, so maybe he can just write that one off.
Oh, mushrooms.
Good idea, let's just get high off of shrooms. I'm pretty sure that'll at least make this watchable.
Huh?
Ah! What the fuck? I wasn't expecting a jump scare in this movie.
You spilled all the mushrooms, you clumsy fool.
Oh no, spilled mushrooms. Those will take ages to mop up. It's not like they're just solid objects you can scoop up and put back in the basket. What if I put the basket on my head and spilled the rest of them everywhere? Now that's hilarious.
That's not a hat, you silly thing.
That's not a movie. You silly thing.
Here, a real hat for a real friend. And an apple for my hungry friend.
The use of friend twice in this line of dialogue makes it a really good line of dialogue. So yeah, this movie is about half an hour long, and it achieves that length because of these stupid fucking pauses that nobody asked for between lines of dialogue and actions. Like, the cartoon is just waiting for the director to shout action, and then some jackass forgot to edit it in post.
Hey, you tricked me again.
Tricked you? How? You poked his nose and he poked yours. What a trick. Whimsical. Fucking whimsical. R.I.P. stereotypical Chinese frog.
Panda, look out!
You know, you'd be a great person to have around the day after an emergency.
Oh wow, that's a gasp that could rival Beauty from Good Times Beauty and the Beast. Okay, 1. The frog surprises you when you're by the water, and the water even has lily pads floating on the top of it. 2. Why is the frog mad about being wet? It's an amphibian.
Now, while we're sitting here, let me tell you a story. Do you know, Panda, my dear friend, where pandas come from?
Wow, that line of dialogue was so expertly woven together. Also, I think this panda is a little young to be having the talk.
Look at the very interesting book I brought along about that.
Oh yes, this is a very interesting blank book.
Would you like me to read it to you?
I assume he would, given that pandas can't fucking read. So we begin this fable about how pandas were made. I actually looked up this legend and couldn't find it anywhere, so I'm assuming it was made up by the movie or just very obscure. The closest thing that I could find to it was a legend about pandas being all white until they attempted to save a young shepherdess from a leopard. And basically, they wear the black on their fur as a way to honour the shepherdesses who sacrificed themselves to more or less save some panda cubs from a leopard. I've never heard this one about the weird white-black pandas coming together and making panda babies. Like, I've never heard of this.
Tree of golden sun would appear.
I like how they
The
just
white
disappear
bears,
out of
nothing was
existence.
more beautiful
Also,
and
it's kind
more
of racist how to
exciting
describe the
than
white
watching
bears here,
butterflies
just
and
saying.
But when the stars were gone, the black bears had to go as well, because by that time the awful, horrible, ugly, and the dangerous white bears from the country of golden sun would appear. One day, they were playing hide and seek, and Black Bear Pan Lee was thinking. He thought, I've counted all the stars, just one I couldn't see. Oh, someone else is waiting for the morning star just like me. It is a white bear, and she is not horrible at all. And that was Lida.
I didn't add that sound effect. He audibly licks his lips upon seeing this white bear for the first time, and they get to fucking.
Love is blind for differences in color.
You know what they say, love is blind.
Pan Lee and Lida lived long and happily ever after.
I'm fairly sure that a child of a white and black bear would be grey and wouldn't have patterns this concise. Anyway, the black and white bear who mated were banished for being race traitors and were eventually hunted down and killed by the racist bears. The end. By the way, this has fuck all to do with the plot, it's just filler. Yeah, I know, this movie has filler in it, shocker. Whoa, spoilers movie.
What a strange reflection. Panda, it's me in an armor.
An armor.
Panda, look, I saw it. I really did. I had a real armor on and a helmet on my head. Are you listening to me? Bye-bye, Panda. I have to go now. I'm already late for dinner.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
So this is actually how this movie plays out. No fucking joke. It's just, here's me in an armor. Are you listening? Sneeze. Hello doggy. Bye. I mean, I'm not sure why anyone takes the flower shop scene from The Room as inspiration for scene direction, but I guess you gotta find inspiration somewhere.
Mulan, why are you always late? You know what cold dinner is like.
I mean, given your shitty cooking, probably doesn't make it much worse.
Guess what happened to me, Father?
You are late, but if you eat everything, maybe you will be forgiven.
Oh, okay, Dad's losing it.
I only know that Mulan should be playing.
What? Like, legit, I've gone over this a handful of times. I can't figure out what the fuck she's saying.
I only know that Mulan should be playing.
You know, while I was sitting at the bank of the pond, I was looking at the water, and I saw my reflection wearing an armor, like a real and dangerous warrior.
Are you sure? And were your eyes open when you saw that?
Wow, Daddy Mulan is such an ass. I hope a war comes along and he has to march off to his death soon. Also, why does he have a pink bow in his hair, the big girl's blouse?
But really,
Listen carefully. Many years ago, my father once told me a very ancient Chinese saying. When you expect a horseman, even your heartbeat may sound like a hoofbeat. And a warrior suit does not make one a warrior.
That is one hell of a situational and weird saying. Yep, I hate Daddy Mulan and I hope he dies.
Would she ever wear that beautiful medallion? Could she ever be a warrior?
Not if she runs away from empty suits of armor like a pussy, she couldn't. Wow, I thought my aim was shit. They couldn't even hit the center. Oh, good, because that's not fucking racist.
Nice. Hey, you idiots! I'm not the target.
We'll see about that, Teach.
you know, Dad, I realized last night that you do not believe my story I told you about the pond.
No! Whatever the fuck gave you that impression?
Maybe I was just daydreaming, hoping that one day I too would become a great warrior, like you.
Oh, good. Daddy Pink Bow has successfully convinced his daughter through gaslighting that she's fucking crazy. Bravo, father of the fucking year. So, Daddy decides that he'll humiliate her for having dreams and visions by entering her in an archery contest with no prior training.
A pocket warrior. She better shoot with chopsticks.
Christ, this fucking movie. Humiliating my daughter in this manner is a genius move, worthy of a mustache tweak. Well, more of a mustache tug, but same difference. I don't know what the fuck noise they were meant to be making there, but they just come across as demon-possessed. Maybe I should pop over to Kyoto and find that guy who can banish goblins. Ha! She can't even do something she's never attempted before in her life. What an idiot. The humiliating of the daughter is finally complete. So, she gets a prize for taking part. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. I mostly blame these two jackasses for giving her a bow that's taller than she is. I'm sure most archers would struggle to shoot a bow that's as big as a fucking harp.
Dad didn't congratulate me. He just kept silent.
It's almost like you fucked up or something.
General Hua! General Hua!
Someone's here!
General Hua, I must speak with you.
You're still the shittest father in all of China.
Great disaster. There's been a great disaster. War broke out in the south of the empire. Large groups of the rebels are torching everything and they're killing everybody. They want to kill our great emperor because they blame him for the great drought that has swept our country.
How much do you want to bet that they starved whilst the food that they grew was being eaten by the nobility? Like, place your bets, people. Oddly enough, they never really addressed this part of it. The failing of the nobility is somewhat overlooked. So, here's one of the changes they've made for this adaptation. The south of China is basically Mordor, and the southern Chinese rebels are orcs. Also, I didn't fuck anything up here. The movie literally is edited like this.
Meanwhile, the mighty General Bad Li and his rebels were all over the south of China.
The evil baddie is called Bad Li. Of course. Of course he is. I do like his mask, though. Why does this dude have hands like the witch from Left 4 Dead?
Emperor, even if the whole country ended up in bloodshed. Mulan's father had once been a famous warrior, and the Emperor called upon his help one last time.
I feel this is very reminiscent of one of those 90s movies where the best assassin of all time comes out of retirement for one more job. Except this dude is 70. What's he gonna do? Break a hip at them? I do like that there's a Chinese version of the Wah Wah theme. Well, here you go, Daddy. Here's a chocolate samurai. Or whatever the shit this is, for taking part. Also, he's trying to cut through a log with a light sword. Yeah, of course it's going to get stuck. So in this adaptation, her being a girl isn't an issue, nor is her being a child for some reason.
My strength is gone.
Let me try, Dad.
No, you're too small.
Don't worry, Dad. I'll make it. You said yourself that the heart is sometimes stronger.
Also, Daddy is all for sending his daughter off to fight this awful war and decides to train her when she's not even physically big or strong enough to hold a weapon yet, so he can send her off to war in his place. I feel like this might have worked a bit better if she was an adult, or at the very least looked the part of an adult, but as far as I can tell, she's like 8. She also has no history in martial training whatsoever. So they're starting from scratch so you can send this child to war. Why did the eagles attack? I'll give this movie some credit here. It actually does pull off some impressive visual storytelling by showing Mulan doing crane fighting style moves alongside footage of a crane doing something similar. It does this with several animals, and it actually is kind of clever because it does tip into the original lore of these animals being imitated in order to create the martial arts that she's practicing. Admittedly, for a movie like this, I am kind of impressed that anyone even thought that deeply about it. Why is the grain crying out with stock punching sound effects? The ones used from Street Warrior, weirdly enough. Oh good, after all that training, she can finally cut an apple in two.
When he was done, Mulan was ready, and she joined the Emperor's army. In 12 years of disastrous warfare, she proved her courage and skill.
So, he trained her for 12 years. So in this adaptation, whilst marauders fucked up the South for well over a decade, he was just in his garden training his daughter to fight his battles for him. Pretty sure the Emperor wanted you to, you know, turn up a bit earlier than this. Or send someone else a bit earlier than this. Not only is this guy the worst father ever, he's also the worst soldier ever. Whilst there were several uprisings in Chinese history that lasted long enough for this to have happened, I don't think the Chinese emperor would have just let people sit the war out for the best part of half of it because they just didn't feel like going, or they just felt like passing the buck and just couldn't find a big enough sucker for it. Also, not to mention, the general at the start of this is like, what, 70? I'm amazed that he's still alive and looks the same by the end of this training montage. By the way, in the actual legend, the characters that Mulan actually fought against were northern marauding nomads who were more or less like the Mongolians. They weren't a peasant uprising. I don't quite know where that came from in this adaptation, but I'm going to guess that that was their best translation for the events of the Disney movie. I'll be right here, panda. So she says goodbye to the panda and then looks into the water at her own reflection, to show that this has all come full circle. What a brilliantly crafted story this is.
Disguised as a man, she became a general, just like her father.
Why does she need to disguise as a man? No rule was established about her being a woman being any kind of problem in the army, or anywhere. In the Disney movie, they do it a little better because, well, they kind of elaborate that yes, women aren't meant to be fighters in ancient China, or at the very least, not army fighters. Whereas in this, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'll have to bind and basically tie my hair back and put it in a bun so that people think I'm a dude, because if they think I'm a woman, I don't know. I mean, she entered the archery contest and literally nobody protested that, so I don't get why she can't fight in the war. So apparently the rebels are not only winning, but most of the Emperor's side have gone over to their side, as Bad Lee is good at pointing out that the Emperor is a colossal fuck-up. And these guys, who have been fighting him in the war, trying to quash a peasant uprising for 12 fucking years, have kind of seen his point.
Soldiers! Don't lay down your arms. Try to be alert.
Oh good, the Dora the Explorer voice really sells the whole male general thing. Can you find the enemy's base?
I cannot go on like this. We've lost the war, and I'm sick of hiding in the forest.
This guy's already my favourite.
Stop jabbering. There's someone in those bushes.
You're really calm about this. Is there something that you know that the rest of us don't? Well, obviously not, I mean, given the movie, but...
I can't see anything. Probably a rabbit.
Nothing bad happened after 3 seconds. Must be a false alarm, I guess. Jesus, with a wit like this, he should be helping take over Shadow Moses.
Several rabbits, about 5 feet tall. Rabbits carrying big bows. Maybe they're using them for hunting carrots.
I'm sorry, but where do you get off chastising your men, whilst you use an ambush as the perfect opportunity to wet your whistle, you hypocrite? Again, she says all of this instead of, I don't know, taking cover, attacking, taking defensive formations. I don't know, literally anything is better than slurping up water and announcing, we know we're being watched, but we'd rather do banter in it, bruv. Or was that just something she picked up from the art of war?
That's really funny. We've got the youngest and the funniest officer in the army.
This guy's a national treasure.
Prepare yourself. The war isn't over. Follow me and fight like Imperial soldiers.
I'm sorry, but Varric with Bianca couldn't fire that many arrows. What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, so these two jackasses get shot, and then you just hear someone off screen say something about wounded. This film's so brilliantly put together, I swear, Christ.
Come get me!
I want her alive! Don't let her get away!
Get away! I swear, this movie and its fucking stereotypes.
Attack! A warrior waits not for death. He calls it.
So, Mulan fights, but instantly gets KO'd because she sucks. She wakes up a slave, but they were nice enough to let her keep her armor and let her wear her red hijab to hide her hair so nobody notices that she's a woman. They also let her put it on without showing her hair or facial features to anyone.
So there she was, held captive by the rebels, her troops gone. Mulan was on her own. No one could save her. This time, Only a miracle could set her free.
Yep, that's the size of it. So after establishing what Bad Lee's flag looks like, we cut to the land before time.
Until the desert jackals come by.
The real intimidating slave masters used to pull silly faces and pull their tongues out at the slaves. It's what set them apart from the other slavers, who just didn't quite have the terror that these guys managed. And then we're treated to a nice upskirt shot. Why? Just why? By the way, the audio dips here. Not sure what amazing dialogue we missed out on, but I can only apologise. Anyway, this guy dies. Ha! Justice. Or something. Also, I shit you not, this guy's head goes missing for a frame. Like, what the fuck? Even Dingo didn't screw up this badly.
Get up, you trash! You want me to help you up with my whip? Take this, and that, and that.
Okay, this guy is my new favourite. Silly dickhead headless slave driver is just top tier as far as characters go.
You filthy animal! Let the old man be!
What? Did some of you sleazy worms speak?
Oh boy, he got sass. No, really, why does his head bob back and forth like that?
This little worm will skin you and you'll end up eating dust and stones.
Oh wow, them's fighting words. I also like as well how she just ends up with garbled audio throughout all that. Oh look, those jackasses are all grown up. And their skin went yellow and they became orcs. It's nice to see a character arc come full circle. Even the skull-hugging rat finds this funny. Oh yeah, skull-hugging rats were definitely a common thing in China around 400 CE.
She remembered the good times she'd shared with her family at home.
Oh good, she's delusional. Great. I love as well how these good times consist of 3 flashbacks. That's about it. Oh, and her father apparently died and became a force ghost.
Take this tea. You will need a lot of strength.
Oh, so Ghost Dad can just conjure up some tea, apparently. Great. Oh, and the medallion is magic now, because of course it is. Their family are apparently a family of dragon keepers, which is only worth mentioning at this very moment, and wasn't worth mentioning within the last 12 years that she was preparing to fight in this war.
Right. I'll take some tea.
That as a clip is fantastic. I'm gonna drink this tea, the cup of which magically morphs into a soup bowl, and then I'll run away to the sound of Minecraft footsteps. So, the magic medallion forms pigeons which are punched into existence. Right, okay, sure.
Hey, pigeons, what should I do now?
I don't know, we're fucking pigeons, bro. And here is the orc guy that I used in my old banner. Such memories.
Hey, stupid birds! Get out of here! Damn pigeons, I'll cut you to pieces!
So, they shit on this orc's face before flying off with the key. It's funny because he was asleep before this, and they could have very easily have stolen the key from him before flying off without anyone being the wiser. But I guess it wouldn't have been as funny as to actually annoy him and shit on his face. I guess that was a crucial part of the plan. Crucial enough that, well, I guess it was worth risking the entire camp being put on alert. So, Mulan uses the second usage of her 5-time use medallion in the space of like a minute, because apparently using them all at once is a great idea or something. She uses it to conjure up a horse that's punched into existence like the pigeons. No idea what happened to the pigeons after this. Maybe they got punched out of existence. Or maybe they just left to live a meaningless existence. I don't know.
Ah, the biggest tree in China.
That's a bird. So after climbing a giant rock to reach the biggest tree in China, which must have taken quite a deal of effort and time, Mulan then questions what she should be doing now.
What should I do now? Certainly this is not the dragon's home. Ouch! I saw you, you ugly creature! Do you think I can't climb up? If I manage to get up to this peak, I'll have no problem getting you! Come out, wherever you are! What's this?
Oh, she found my career.
Some kind of a hole. Ouch! It's you again!
Well, the monkey seems to be in the exact same spot as before, according to the fact that it's a repeated animation and the background is identical. So, the idiot monkey tries grabbing a branch that snaps and he falls to his death. By which I mean he falls into Mulan's arm. Same difference. The weight of this monkey knocks the strong soldier woman back and she falls into the hole and they die. Movie over. Yay, I wish. Then we watch her slide down for like 20 seconds and it's just a repeated animation loop. Lazy. She saves herself from falling, but the idiot monkey falls on top of her, and she then falls into the pit of despair and the credits roll. Okay, no, just wishful thinking on my part again.
A burning lake, and we've got no boat.
Yeah, because a wooden boat would do fucking wonders on lava, you ignoramus. Seamless. Then this fire demon comes along and gives them the finger. Mulan then realizes that she can't kill the fire demon with a sword, so she kicks the monkey into the lava in frustration.
At least we won't have to fear fire anymore, but we might drown instead.
Again, I like how calmly she points that out. Oh yeah, we're gonna drown, monkey. Great.
We have crossed the earth, and we have managed to escape from the fire. And now we are trapped in a flood of water.
Oh, nice plot summary.
The four elements. Earth, fire, water, air.
Oh, I hate this Avatar reboot already.
But if we don't do something, we'll drown soon. I know, the medallion. It will help us.
Oh yeah, use that magic thing you've had this whole time. That'll help, I'm sure. Oh, it punches a single tiny fish into existence. Great. Problem solved. Now you'll drown, but at least your body will be eaten and won't go to waste. So the fish leads the way after they dive because apparently the floor is gone now, and it leads the way to the next area. I don't know, couldn't she find this on her own? Why did she even need the fish to guide her? She could have just dove down and then just gone looking. It's not like there's a maze or a labyrinth down there. Ha! Stupid dead monkey. And then this happens. Can't tell if it resembles an erotic video or a shampoo advertisement more, but either way, it's weird. I'm your Venus, I'm your fire, your desire. So, after several minutes of establishing that it's a mountain, Mulan comes to the conclusion that this is the air room. Not entirely sure how, because this equally could be the Earth. I mean, mountains, Earth, but whatever.
This is the fourth time we are using magic. That leaves us only one. Hey, magic bird! It's nice to see you, but you don't look big enough to carry us both.
Bitch, the monkey is tiny. Can't you just hold on to your boot or something? So, the bird is useless. Do you think we could get a refund then? Like, if the medallion summons a useless animal that isn't fit for the task, could they just swap it for a better one? It hardly seems fair that you don't have any control over which animal you get, and it's just the one that the medallion decides will solve your problems. I mean, what if it doesn't? It could legitimately not. Also, this bird is the first one that hasn't followed the yin-yang design, so I'm going to assume it's defective and therefore definitely useless.
What do you mean by that? That you can't?
I mean, that's usually what a head shake means. So the crane, apparently, is like a plane and can only carry so much, but he still helps Mulan come up with a solution that allows the stupid monkey to fly too. To which the stupid monkey sticks his tongue out at it. Wow, that's gratitude for you. So the crane wills itself out of existence, presumably because it can't survive after a disc that powerful. I'll say this, the fluent animation is what keeps me coming back to this movie. So they get attacked by bats and the monkey falls, only to cut to Mulan's intense glare with the monkey's hand right behind her left ear as she swoops down to save said monkey. So they crash and they're greeted by these orcs.
Hey, Dragon, wake up! Let's go! You need some fresh air and you have to go out. You're done sleeping here.
Oh, that was an easy sell. So after taking the sleepy dragon outside, Bad Lee turns up and his army attacks them in about 4 frames of animation. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not.
Sleep again. Monkey, do something, quickly!
You could hear that rubbish only from your father, that miserable worm. That was his duty, to crawl, that imperial maggot.
I, Mulan, daughter of my father the great warrior, shall gladly turn into a worm if you ever win this war.
Ha 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 ha! You are the same blood, it's plain to see. He could also wear a skirt.
Oof, burn.
Blood is not male or female. It is only red. And in your case, it must be green, you evil lizard. How about shedding some of your green blood now, huh?
I'll tell your father how you died.
I'll tell your father how you spoke without closing your mouth.
Nothing will stop me from becoming emperor, and especially not a little worm like you.
So apparently that was such a powerful diss, she just stands there for several seconds with her mouth wide open in shock. I mean, it wasn't that good. So the monkey finds the medallion, which summons a chicken. The monkey rips off the tail feathers and the chicken calls out like a rooster, which is enough to wake the dragon. That's an awful lot of steps for a stupid, not sentient pendant to think up, and I struggle to see why it didn't just summon a dragon of its own, or an elephant, or something that's obviously useful. I also want to know what the fuck the monkey grave is.
And now he goes to Monkey Grave.
So the sleepy dragon sets fire to everything around him. Apparently we're supposed to like him despite the fact that he's responsible for this whole mess by being such a sleepy prick. Stupid pig-nosed arsehole. I like how it just cuts to him barfing out fire as a still image. But it makes sense because he's breathing fire continuously.
Come on, Dragon, take us out of here!
Alrighty then.
I don't know and I don't want to know. Also, why not kill Brad Lee right now and get it over with? Well, they do kind of, as the dragon causes an avalanche which kills everyone, and the Southern Army lose. Badly. I'm here all week, unfortunately.
The war was over, and the story of Mulan spread all over China.
Yeah, and was so well adapted. Oh man, I still can't read. Also, it is possible, but the panda still being alive and looking the exact same is a bit of a stretch. And then Mulan turned into a woman. The end. Ah, fucking hell. Mighty Mulan is far from the most enjoyable thing I've watched on this channel, as a lot of it is padded out with awkward and annoying animation looping and inane bullshit. It's kind of like the perfect combination of Dingo and Bevanfield though. The animation is a lot more ambitious than both of those, but it's still very lacking. And in a lot of cases, it is more interesting than either Bevanfield or Dingo. There are a lot of moments of pure fuck up in this movie, and even ignoring that, the movie feels somewhat of a slog to get through. It does have some decent backgrounds and a few good ideas as far as imagery goes, but none of these things really come close to redeeming the movie as a whole, not even in the slightest. In truth, I completely get why I thought this movie wasn't reviewable, as it really does take a lot of patience to sit through, and it's hard to really talk about because so little happens between scenes. And whilst there are a few funny moments, the movie is very forgettable and mostly shit.
Ha ha ha! You are the same blood, it's plain to see. He could also wear a skirt.
Professor Curious is a fucking spurg.